What makes you a true mum with a side hustle? What sets you apart? Is it income? Is it faith? Is it success? Is it a business model? Well, I don't know. Why don't we talk about it today? I think it's actually the values that you build from. And this week, I've been thinking a lot about what are the values or what are the characteristics of our tribe of mums with a side hustle, because there's a lot of mumtrepreneur groups out there. There's like mum with a side hustle. Since I started, there's been a lot of mom with a side hustle groups, all sorts of things coming out. But I think that we have a really interesting DNA and I can't wait to explore it with you. So welcome to the Mum Tribe who are on here on this call with me. Thank you so much for being here. It's so great to be with you. And we're taking a little break from our 40 Days of Courage series just because I just got interested in this topic, and so I thought, why not follow the inspiration and follow the curiosity? And isn't that one of the best things you can do as a mum with a side hustle, is allow your curiosity to lead you, allow those promptings from the Holy Spirit to take you down pathways that you maybe haven't been down before. And so that's why this week we're going into these 5 values or 5 characteristics of our tribe of mum with a side hustle, and hopefully I can learn from you guys as much as this might be great information for you and helpful for you. So I'm gonna start with just sharing the 5 things that I've come up with. We're not gonna get into them all today. I tried to, but there is just so much content that it's not going to fit in one call. So we might have a mini series about this. But here's the 5 things, the 5 characteristics I think that the women in this tribe are carrying, and what you're, I want to say manifesting, but that word has so many meanings, but what you're expressing through your side hustle. So here's the first one. They believe they are made for more, which is attached to our identity. So you guys are women who believe that you are made for more. Number 2, your vision is to build a legacy. Okay, so that you are not just here for right now, but you're actually here for what's beyond now. The third one is they take small, regular, faithful action. And the fourth one, they build with leverage. So it's like there's a lot of wisdom and a lot of learning behind what we are doing here. There's strategy. And fifthly, we choose growth over comfort, which always feels a little bit hard. And the reason these matter is because they answer the 5 top questions that women are asking. So these are the questions. Who am I? What am I building? How do I build? How do I build wisely? And who am I becoming? And that's what we're going to start with today. We're going to start with the top 2. I believe that I'm made for more, and my vision is to build a legacy. Now I get really excited about these values, so hopefully that means that they are truly the core values of Mum with a Side Hustle, and I've seen these emulated in you guys so much. So thank you so much for being part of Mum with a Side Hustle, and just showing up all the time for yourself, for your family, for the people who are impacted by what you're creating. Okay, so value 1 is this idea that I believe that I'm made for more. And I believe that every woman has moments where she wonders if the dream in her heart was there for a reason. And I think this can be attached to a lie, actually. The lie that if I have personal goals, I need to put them on pause for a season while I'm having a baby. Now, I think that while you give birth, you should maybe put them on pause. You might not be giving birth thinking deeply about your business, but hey, if you get that business idea while you're giving birth, then I want to hear about that story. But on the whole, it can be quite common for women across the generations to be like, hey, I put my career on pause, or I put a lot of things on pause while I had children. And I am not saying that women should all want what we want, and all, have to balance all these things. But Mum with a Side Hustle mums have this funny wondering that if they are actually made for more, if their dreams are actually there on purpose and they don't have to put this season on pause. Have you ever felt like you have the capacity to change your family's finances, and that you actually have what it takes. And we talked about that last week. I think that that is part of the DNA of being a mum with a side hustle. You just have this belief inside of you that there is greater, and you've quietly thought, there's other people out there crushing this. There's other people out there creating this income, these finances. They've figured it out. Why can't God give me that blueprint? Why can't God teach me what these other people have? And it's just this kind of deep belief. And I know for me, there have been several key moments when people have been casting vision and I've gone, you know what? I love being a mum. I dreamed of being a mum. I want to be here. But I actually think I've got what it takes to still build something else in this season. And so that's why I think this is a key value and belief that mums with a side hustle hold, is I can be an excellent mum, but part of that is actually going to be building a dream or building a vision or building towards a greater future for my family. Because I'm made for this, I've got more to give. So when you are made for more, it can feel like you've been putting off ideas and opportunities, because starting a family can be overwhelming. So if you have experienced that, like you've had an idea and you're like, oh, that'll have to wait till later, or an opportunity comes up, hey, this business is a really good idea, or you'd be really good at this, but you put that off. I think that is a signal to you that you actually are a mum with a side hustle already. Without even building a business, you're already that woman. Another feeling you might have if you're a true mum with a side hustle mum, is that you get told, it's just a season, your time will come, but inside you're just like, something about that just feels off. I don't know if I really believe that, or you did once believe that, but you started to not believe that anymore. I think that's part of noticing that you really are a mum who has a side hustle deep inside of her. And I think in your heart, you know that if you don't take action now, you're actually writing off part of your financial inheritance. And I don't want to declare that over anyone, but I think it's just a feeling that you have. I believe I've got the ability, I've got what it takes, I've got the desire, and I've got heaven's stamp of approval that I can actually start working on this right now, and I don't have to wait. And that made for more feeling doesn't mean you've got to put your kids into full-time care if that's not you. You don't want to do that. It doesn't mean you have to trade your desire to intentionally invest yourself for your children's investment. It's a belief that inside of you that I can actually grow intentionally, because we're going to grow anyway, right? As a mum, hopefully you're going to grow. Your children, your responsibilities, they're all going to grow you, but you actually can choose to grow intentionally if you follow the nudges of the Holy Spirit, and if you listen to these things that are stirring inside you, that I am made for more. So I think some women feel guilty for wanting more because they've always wanted to be a mother, but you might have even had to work for it. It might not have come naturally. I know there's a mum in our tribe that they had to go through a process to have children. It wasn't simple for them, and now they've got there. It's like, am I rejecting that if I want to fulfill my calling in this season in other ways? And I know that it might seem crazy to you now, but there were times when I thought like that, or I was around people who thought like that. I've just got to kind of surrender to the season. I remember growing up and my mum worked, but she worked during school hours, and she felt like she was missing out because a lot of other women in her world didn't work. Their husbands worked, but they didn't. And so she always felt like she missed out on the experience of being a stay-at-home mum because she went back to work. But what if she'd lived today? What if she'd been part of the mum tribe? What if she had had a different perspective on her season, that I can actually be a stay-at-home mum if that's what I want to be, and I can have so much more, and I can build a legacy, and I can I can express what I have inside of me. I even remember my mum watches these calls, so I love you, mum. I remember us whispering to each other like, "Mum needs to get a job because she's on to us so much." Like we just felt like when mum was just focused on us, it was like too much. Like it was better when mum had a job. So yeah, like I think that it's such a privilege to be part of a group of women who are saying, hey, like here I am, I'm made for more, and I want to be a mum, and I love being a mum, but I've got something else on my heart to grow in this season. And what does this look like on a daily basis? So I reckon daily, and this is where I really want your guys' feedback, it looks like taking action as someone who believes that they're made for more. So, having a vision for what that looks like. Maybe it's the actions of working out, eating healthy, listening to personal growth audios, doing courses, building a personal brand, setting goals and accomplishing them. Like not just being like, I'll do this one day, but no, I'm going to put aside other things and I'm going to make this happen like I really am. Karen is building a flippin' bus. She is making that happen, and she could wait. She could wait, but why? Why wait when you've got this moment today? And yes, there are times to push through and there are times to pull back, but deep inside you're still holding on to that and you're taking action towards that. If a mum believes she's made for more, she sees purpose in her calling of motherhood to give a greater vision to the future of herself and her family. And I believe it drives her to stay focused on her goals and take daily action. And when a mum comes to the place where she believes a business is part of her calling, so it's actually taken me a long time to feel like this is not just this group of women that I'm leading, like this is a calling. And it's a calling inside the season of motherhood. You can become deeply convicted and refuse to give up. And no matter what season you're in, you will take some kind of action in some way, whether that is personal development or actual, business planning or dream, working out the dreams on your heart. I think that is all an expression of being made for more. Feeling made for more isn't a rejection of motherhood. It's actually often an invitation to stewarding what's already inside of you. And I see that in so many of you mums. So let's have a little chat before we move on to value number 2, because we're going to look at 2 values today. Obviously, Sophie can't chat because she is brushing her teeth. But it's a very important, oh, Laura is too. Guys, I've got to explain something. It's quite early in the morning in New Zealand. Well, not super early, but, it's after breakfast in New Zealand, so mums are just doing mum things. Do you know what I actually found hard? And I'd love to hear if this is like this for other people, but stopping going to work kicked me out of the rhythm of when I'm meant to brush my teeth, because I would always get up, eat, brush my teeth as I go out the door. But when you don't go out the door, when do you brush your teeth? And so there are days where I don't brush my teeth till lunchtime or afternoon tea because I haven't kind of got it right in the middle there. It's not hooked onto something. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever felt guilty for wanting more? Has that been something that you've experienced?
I've totally side quested way too hard, and now I never brush my teeth this late.
When do you brush your teeth, Laura?
I normally have this routine of, because I normally work out in the morning, so I've got my workout clothes on, and so then after breakfast or after Jono leaves for work, then I come make my bed, get changed, and then do it. And so it's kind of this little routine, but missed that this morning because I didn't work out. You see, I had a sleep in because I was tired from being up for 3 hours with Mackenzie. But the question, even still now, we've just been talking about that as a couple, trying to practice gratitude in the season you're in. It's a real fine line between let's just practice of being happy where we're at, but not feeling guilty for wanting more, not. You thank God for where you're at with, there was once upon a time I prayed for this farm life, husband, children, stay at home. And now some days I'm like, really? But then, and we're building all this other stuff, and it's like, um, yeah, finding that balance between, um, yeah, gratitude, but not feeling guilty for wanting more. And we know that when we get our more, then there'll be another season of wanting more. And, you know, we've seen that in so many friends that have gone on to great things like yourself, like you and Zeph wanted more. You're now there, and I bet you want even more. And it's like, but you practice like great gratitude for where you're at.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah, so you definitely still get that feeling of like, should I be wanting more? I've got what I went for and what I needed. I saw what you wrote, Karen, about out of rhythm of brushing teeth. I'm glad we're having a real life conversation here too. Found it hard to remember when you're not going out. Yeah, definitely. What about for you, Sophie? Do you ever feel guilty for wanting more?
I hadn't really thought about that question because I was thinking about when do I brush my teeth.
When do you brush your teeth?
Usually after I get the kids dressed.
Amen. I'm so glad
Um,
your children are now dressed.
they're actually not. We brushed our teeth before we got dressed today. One of those mornings. I have definitely felt guilty about wanting more. It's kind of felt a little bit like if I take time to build something that makes me feel passionate, that I've had this like false belief before that I'm not pouring enough into my husband or my children. But I've come to realize that there's a real balance between everything that you do.
How did you come to that realization?
When I it almost kind of makes you a little bit miserable in yourself, like that you're not authentic. Like being authentic is apparently the highest frequency of emotion that you can be in, and you can actually output more to your family than what you would otherwise be doing if you weren't feeling that authentic emotion.
That is really powerful. So you're saying that if you're faking it by denying the desire you have to do something, build something else alongside motherhood, you actually are not as
Mm.
valuable to your husband and your kids as if you actually acknowledged that feeling and did something about it.
Yeah, 100%. And then there's also that balance there as well of not like overly working on your thing and neglecting your family. Yeah, there's just balance, balance, balance.
And for me, that one always runs into the value of leverage because I
Yeah.
don't want to build something that I don't want to be in. Like, I don't want to build a business that I'm going to resent and be like, oh, like now I have to be away from my kids. Now I have to, do this or that. Like, I want to build something that I actually want to be inside and I'm going to enjoy. And yes, like it will take you away from your family a little bit. And we're going to talk about legacy in just a moment, but it's going to take
It
you
adds
away.
value.
Yeah, it adds value
Yeah.
back because when you
Mm.
re-enter the family, you have so much more like joy for what you've been doing. What were you saying there, Laura? I'm just going to look at the chat. Yeah, resentment or holding back true potential. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's just such a bad vibe and frequency. And I think that's why your partner's really key because if it's like a God relationship, he wants both of you to strive to be better for each other, for the family, but then for the world as well and yourself. And if you've got someone that is kind of more about like, oh no, I'm going to go and build what I want, and then you kind of just get on the side burner, it's really tricky to function from that. So it's really healthy to kind of own where you're at. But I feel like as mums, it's quite easy to be like, oh, like before I did master the code, even like I was just happy, kind of well, not even happy. I was just coasting, like not even aware of, um, and maybe I would have reached a point somewhere along the line when maybe the kids had left or, but yeah, it's kind of interesting.
I think it isn't interesting how society's values can direct your pathway. So let's look at this lie that like it's just a season and your time will come. You know, if you believe that without questioning it, you will never give yourself permission to discover what else you might be capable of, you know. And I think that's why I want Mum with a Side Hustle to exist. You know, maybe we're not the place to give you business advice other than build something with leverage. But like if we can be the one that can break that lie that it's just a season and you just have to wait for your time, then we can actually be part of changing culture. Because I personally didn't want to get caught in the culture of it's my career and this is my thing and I deserve to have that career. Like, I think that some of that talk and some of that way of thinking has stolen the beauty of motherhood and the importance of motherhood. And so I never wanted to go down that line, but I also didn't want to be put in the box of like stay-at-home mum. Like, I just don't like that line. I think, like, for me, there's nothing wrong with it. If you like it, go for it. But like, I want the definition of stay-at-home mum to be so much bigger than mum looks after the house and the children. Like, that to me is way too narrow. I want, that is right, Laura. It's like the masculine, feminine, like the very fixed definitions of those things. The man's role and the woman's role. And so people have broken away from the older way of this is the man's role and the woman's role by saying, okay, well, the woman's allowed a career too. And so the woman pursues the career and the children get cared for by multiple other people continually to the point where you never see them, you know, like they're in preschool care, after school care, kids holiday camps. And so you might get a few hours every week and occasionally on a holiday with them. And I was like, and that's so that as a woman, you don't have to fit the old school model of stay-at-home mum versus full-time career person. So that's why when I became a mum, I'd already had 2-3 significant career changes. I was like, there's got to be more. There's got to be more to this model of he works and I stay at home. I want more. And I think that's why Mum with a Side Hustle exists, because yeah, we're made for more, mums. Does anyone want to add anything to that before we jump into the second value of the legacy, or any other experiences of that? Okay, cool. Let's jump into, once we know who we are, the next question becomes, what are we building? And that's where legacy comes in. So the value of this one, I'll just say it all again. The Mum with a Side Hustle is someone whose vision is to build a legacy, right? So let's just start with a question. When you picture your children as adults, what do you hope they will take from your current example, from seeing you build a business? It's very, very confronting to ask yourself that question. When they're adults, what are they going to look back on? What are they going to see in your example? And what are they going to want to remember about you? What do you hope they remember about the way you showed up, and also the way your business created opportunities for them? Because this is part of it, right? Like, I know that I was driven to start a side hustle because I did not like the amount of money that we were earning. I did not like that I had to rely on working for families or whatever other benefit. If you're in New Zealand, there's a good number, and I was so blessed by them, but they are also limiting. They're very, very limiting, and they can be hard to transition out of. And so I didn't want to stay limited by how much money the government said that they would give me to live, or how much money a boss said that they would pay me for my time. I had this belief that there would be more for me and more for my family. And when I started hearing it from other people, I started getting this vision of a legacy that I could create. I could create, either the business itself becomes a legacy. And I think Mum with a Side Hustle has the ability to do that in multiple ways. Like I was just sharing about changing culture, changing cultural ideas. Or the money that we create with our businesses, we learn how to create a legacy with those finances. So it's kind of two things. It's the business itself creating new, like money and opportunities, and there's multiple ways to go. But there's also this, I want to learn how to manage, steward money so that the money works for itself and creates opportunities. And so both of them for me is legacy. Legacy is what will outlive us. It's not just our money, but what we learn to do with our money. So let's have a look at what we're actually building. So when my children watch me right now, some days they do see the door of the office, not so much slammed, but closed in their face. And it's not always pretty. Right before this call, I went out to get my lipstick and they're like both on me, Mum, I want you, Mum, I want you. And I love them, but I also want to be on this call with you guys. And, I pray that one day they will see the woman I became because I invested and I grew in myself, and all the wisdom that I learned, I actually got to share with them and train them. They will see people that I was able to encourage and influence. And I think, like you guys are key in this. Like, you are the network of Mum with a Side Hustle. We will do life together in some capacity, and our children will be friends with each other. And this is key, because you'll educate your children with the wisdom that you have learned in this season, and I will educate my children with the wisdom I have learned in my season, and together they'll create something from a different starting place. And I'm going to talk about that more in just a second. I am building a legacy of knowledge and leverage in investments, personal brand building, and ideas that are one day going to be commonplace and regarded as normal. So right now, the idea of investments, personal brand building, having businesses with leverage, those things are actually right now, they're outside the normal. It's not normal to think like this. It's not normal to plan your life around what can I build today that's going to multiply and be greater tomorrow. The culture that I come from values buying your own home and owning your own home as pretty much your sole investment, and maybe KiwiSaver if you decided to do that. And if you don't think that way, then you're on the outside rim. But I just want to say, I think that mums with a side hustle are the outside rim mums. They're becoming educated about what the future is actually opening up to us. They're becoming educated about where money is moving and how we can access money and how we can use it to build and compound. And I'm passionate about this because when our kids grow up, I actually think this will be more normal and more people will be embracing their ideas. But if our kids can start where we end, or they can come on that journey with us, they will have a massive advantage as the world changes. We just have to look back on history at all the changes technologically. Even the era where we moved from farms to factories was a big technological change in society. The internet, they call it the .com era. We're moving now into the AI era. All of these passages of time are going to keep happening, and we can choose to be on the back end of them and keep following the patterns that we've seen and that are normal around us, or we can actually learn to step into the future, be the first ones, be the pioneers, break the patterns, and we can start our kids off at a better place. And I think that, to me, that is legacy. If I don't change and grow now, my children will have to do it. They'll have to break through. They'll have to be the pioneer. And I pray they are pioneers, but I pray they can pioneer the next thing and they don't have to be at the end of that. So, I hope that was helpful. Pioneering is ugly. It is challenging. Do you want to add something, Laura?
Yeah, I was just saying that it's one of my little mottos is between, me and John, or even just myself, is we're pioneering, and pioneering is ugly and it's lonely. And I often think of the analogy, or thinking back in history, and people that broke country in New Zealand from native bush to farmland, people probably thought, what on earth are you doing? And they were out there slogging their guts out 13, 14-hour days. And then it wasn't, they might not have even seen
result
you
of
know,
it.
maybe they didn't see the fruits of their labor for years after that, or ever at all, and then but maybe their family line did, or other people have. And so I don't know, I just think, wow, like yeah, I think pioneering is it's not necessarily taught to us as something individual that we can be in whatever our conquest is. But yeah, it's something that gets me through is I've never been a pioneer before, but I'm a pioneer, and it's ugly and it's lonely, but it's going to be the most rewarding thing. And speaking about legacy on that, is that if we are doing our hard yards now, the next generation will pioneer, but they'll have more of a spirit for it, and it won't be so foreign to them, and maybe they'll like it'll just be almost normal for them. And I know that I've already changed my bloodline because of, if I think of how I was raised and the culture I was raised in, this year our children, well, over the last year they've seen a huge transformation in us, but in the last 6 months we've started 2.5 businesses, like God ideas, like me, Jono, our t-shirt idea, and then our farm tour business, and then before that it was like network marketing. So and we've done pine cones with them, and we're teaching them how to do leather work to be able to sell key rings, and yeah, they just automatically, and it's pretty cool. The other day, sorry, I'm rambling. The other day, one of the girlfriends of a shepherd on farm put a flyer in our mailbox, and she started her own cleaning company. And so she's got this flyer, and Mackenzie saw her at a community dinner on Friday, and Mackenzie went up and congratulated her.
Oh,
And she said that she said to Charlie that she really liked her flyer, and I can't remember what else she said, but I was like, her brain is already identifying that it needs to be celebrated.
yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, come on.
And it's part of the education, right? And this is what I am super fascinated about. If you look at families who have generational wealth and have generationally passed that on and continue to pass that on, the way they educate their children is different, through their values and what they do and and the example they give them. So yeah, that's really cool, Laura, that it's not just the things we do, it's the value that we place on stuff that our children can carry. For me, when I think about applying legacy to business decisions, I think about this idea like when you make a decision for your business, you're actually thinking about legacy is going to matter more than likes. We live in the age of social media. That's a very, very key way you can grow most businesses on the planet. And authenticity is on trial right now. Absolutely, because of the AI development. Authentic expression in every way, whether it is that you wrote that post yourself, or you turned up on camera, or all of that is on trial. People are judging all the time. Is that real or is that not? And if I can tell that a video looks even a tiny bit like AI, I'm not interested. And some of my friends are saying that to me, like, they're just not interested. And so, yeah, that's why I say, like, legacy matters more than likes. So when you make decisions for your business, if you're someone about legacy, who believes in legacy, if you're a mum from this mum tribe who is a mum with a side hustle, you're going to choose authenticity in person and online. You're going to actually trust and back your own opinions and ideas, because you'll know that human ideas are still more valuable than AI developed ideas. And you're also going to, like, the decisions you're going to make for your business are you're going to invest in genuine lifelong networks and relationships, because you're not thinking just about today. And this is why mums, like, find people you can align with who believe the things that you want to believe or who you want to become. And I hope that's what this tribe is and can be even greater with. The network of people that you are connected to massively influences and impacts the kind of legacy you're going to build. what Laura does and the way Laura thinks. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like what she's added to the conversation today is so valuable. And that's why networking with people who are personally growing and learning new things is the best business decision that you can make. Like, none of us should be doing this alone. Legacy says no to small-minded thinking and payoffs that come quickly versus long-term gain. So I started Mum with a Side Hustle 2.5 years ago. It literally was an idea that dropped into my head. I believe it was the Holy Spirit. I didn't know how to make a business out of it, but I felt like it was important enough to do something about. And if I wasn't invested in legacy, I would have given up on it long ago, because because I have not made a lot of money with Mum with a Side Hustle. Now, I have made money, through other businesses and things that I've done, but Mum with a Side Hustle is literally about to birth some new things in this season, and it's going to make some money. But because I believe in legacy, I'm sticking around for the long haul. And that's what I want to say to you guys as well, is believe more in the long-term growth of the ideas that you have than an immediate payout. Like, you want to be making money, but don't give up if you believe deep in your heart that the idea that you're building is valuable and important, and it has like the fingerprint or the blessing of heaven on it. Don't give up on that. Like, legacy says, I believe in long-term investment and growth versus like quick wins. Legacy is content that goes beyond AI and has the human fingerprint of creativity and unlimited possibility. And I've, in this season, started to go, I need to do craft again. I need to, you are buying things off me. That's true, Sophie. Sophie's in some of my businesses, yay, and Laura. I've started to want to pick up crochet again, and sewing and embroidery, things I love, because I want to make gifts for people, because the stuff in the shops, anyone can buy. There's so much stuff on the planet right now, but the things that I own that mean the most to me are things that people made. They made it with their hands. And I think our content and the way we do our business needs to reflect this. The human fingerprint, or the human faultiness, you might want to say, is actually more, it has more potential. Let me explain it this way. Like, I'm not talking about crocheting a cup holder, like a thing for around the cup, or one of these things. I'm talking about the ideas that you come up with that AI didn't create for you. Like the things, this is where I find it. The ideas that I put into AI and they mess it up, and it doesn't express what I'm trying to say, those are your best ideas, because they've got the human fingerprint on them. And I think legacy believes in that. Legacy believes that the human brain is actually going, the creative part of it is so much more valuable than what you can create with AI. And AI has its place, 100%. It's going to get us further faster. But our own thinking, our own creative ideas, our own ability to grow, that is legacy. Those ideas are legacy. Your children may never remember your launch, but they'll remember the woman you were while you were building it. Okay, let's hear this, and then we're going to have to wrap it up. What does legacy mean to you? When your children are 30 years old, what do you hope they'll thank you for?
Not fear of failure, like giving something a go. Stepping out of your comfort zone. And I hope in time in our journey that'll be, rewarded in financial more freedom for choices for us and our family. And so I hope they see that as a result of stewarding a God idea, not even just a good idea, and being brave enough to cultivate it and work hard for it, that comes with an abundance of infinite possibilities, and also not being what we say, growing up with the idea that it is to end education and then just go and work for somebody and get a good job that kind of gets you by, supports a family, and kind of dulls life down. So that's, I want them to be like, you know what can I build for myself, and what is my family already building that I can build on. Yeah.
I want to be in your legacy, Laura.
Yeah, you are.
I love it. I love the way you're talking about it. I'm like, I want that. What about you, Sophie? What, and Kieran, if you want to chime in, like, what does legacy mean to you? You know, what do you hope that your kids will thank you for?
You can jump in if you want, Kieran.
Okay. Yeah, so for me, I think it's more than just for my children. I want to leave, I want to leave artwork in the world that changes people's perception, or encourages people to look to God, and maybe write books. So yeah, something that's beyond me and even beyond my family. But for my family, I mean, I'd love to one day own lands that my children don't have to buy their own place. But yeah, just trying to figure out how to do that, I think. So yeah, something to give them a step up so that they can do what they want to do.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Hold on to that really, really tightly. And what I've learned most about this season that we've been in and that we're in now is like literally those dreams that seem like that's a wild dream. I think God wants to propel you towards them much faster than you think. Like, you know, you've got like 10, 20, 30 years on that. But yeah, there's momentum when you partner with God, crazy momentum. So yeah, keep doing that, Kieran. And I've known you a long time and you have the most incredible artwork. I would love to read your stories. And I definitely think that's going to be a legacy. And I think your kids are going to be, I hope they're going to be proud of that and blessed by that too. Yeah, what about you
Yeah.
for you, Sophie? Like, what does legacy mean to you?
I would love if my children grow up normalizing their ideas and achieving their ideas. Yeah, that's probably my biggest goal in life as a parent, um, is that they don't have to break out of that mindset of self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's something that I'm still battling away with. Is that I'm a pear tree. It's such a weird term, but I tell myself that all the time. I think I might have I
What do
think
you mean by
we've
you're a peer
spoken about
tree?
this.
I've not heard of this.
Yeah, I heard of an analogy of why people self-sabotage is because they're like in he used the parable of a apple tree and a pear tree. He said that we've grown up as these apple tree lives, these apple tree wealth, apple tree health. Everybody around us is apple trees, and that's all that we know. And then you reach adulthood and you see a pear tree over there, and you're like, wow, they have amazing health, wealth, relationships, so on and so forth. I'm going to be a pear tree. But because you're rooted in your identity as an apple tree, you always revert back to being an apple tree. And so I have taken to telling myself that I'm a pear tree.
You're like, I'm going to unroot and root in a new identity, which is actually,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, from what I understand about neuroscience, like that's really important. Like your identity, what you believe about yourself has to change for your future to change.
Yeah, 100%. So I'd love for just my legacy to be that it's normal to be awesome.
You say that so like plainly, but it's actually so cool. It's normal
Um,
to be awesome.
Isn't
yeah.
it? And celebrated to be awesome,
Yeah.
an individual. I had on there. I've been like for probably I don't know, nearly 6 months. At night I've been writing down, and I probably should do it in the morning, but I just feel like I don't have capacity in my morning unless I get up earlier. But I've been writing down before I go to sleep, um, like a page of goals, and sometimes there'll be like a new one or whatever. And then about a week ago, I had a kind of a 10% bad day, and have you heard that 10% of your days will just be bad? I had one of those days, and I was thinking, like the power of the brain is so powerful that I need to, I think it was something that Dana had said, a friend of ours, and said that you need to reprogram the engine. And I was like, you know what? This is so powerful. Like, here I am thinking, oh, I'll just wake up and it's a new day. But, which it is, but the power of being able to write something is an unseen power. And I was like, so on the backside of my goals, then I've been writing I am, and a list of the things that I am. And it's been like powerful. And I'm like, imagine where I'm going to be in like 6 months after doing that. So I'd highly encourage doing that.
To write your goal as I am.
No, so I do my goals and then I am more of an identity thing. And that's just even, I am positive no matter what. I am, like just lots of things, like little things. I am beautiful. I'm a good sister. I'm a good friend. I'm a good wife. I'm a good mum, or great mum, or whatever. But also, I've kind of got to the idea that I might, because I'm not sure. I'll test it with some friends first. But my t-shirt brand, I am going to name it I Am clothing label, so that people, because of the cross, I feel like it's a piece of clothing that will remind you daily that I am whatever I say I am in the image of my creator. And so I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, but it's powerful. Write down who you are daily and your goals. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Thank you, Laura. Oh, that's so good. We're going to have to wrap up. So just in wrapping up the 2 values that we've talked about today, I believe you're made for more. So mums with a side hustle believe they're made for more. And secondly, they decide what they're building, because once their identity and their vision are clearer, their daily decisions become easier, and they believe that they are here for legacy, not just for just today. That what they're building, what they're sacrificing for, is part of a legacy. And we're going to dive into more of these values next week. We've got 3 left. So, a mum with a side hustle takes small, regular, faithful steps. They build with leverage, and they choose growth over comfort. And that, I'm not sure if that's going to be week 2 and week 3. We'll just see how we go next week. But I can't wait to have that chat with you guys and dive into that more. And thank you so much, Laura, Karen, and Sophie, for all you've added to our conversation today. You guys have got deep rivers, and I can see the payouts of all the investment you've been doing in yourselves over the last, hasn't even been that long, year and a half. So yeah, I'm proud to be in a tribe with you. So Mum with a Side Hustle exists because I want women to know that they're not alone. And that's why we're doing this series on the beliefs, the values, or the way to tell if you are one of the mum tribe, if you're a part of the Mum with a Side Hustle, if you've got these characteristics. And I think as well to inspire us to continue to grow in these characteristics, because I definitely am not a poster child for all of them. I still want to grow in these areas. Women who love being mums but also feel stirred by God to create something more. Women who want to build intentionally instead of waiting for that one day that you have permission. And if today's conversation feels like something's been stirring inside you, and it's, finally put words to how you feel, I'd love to invite you to keep walking with us. We're not a closed community. We don't cost anything. Some of you simply need to just keep showing up to these calls. And if you want to be able to be in our messenger chat or come on the Zoom call, then please just drop me your email address at the link. I'll put it in the description. And we do have a course that all the mums here have done called the Master the Code Challenge, which is a really, really good next step for you if you are wanting to start a side hustle. It is amazing. It helps you shape your identity. It helps you dream again. It helps you get clear, focused. Helps you get rid of, things that could sabotage your dreams, but also put systems in place. So that's something that we really love, we really value here as Mum with a Side Hustle, is the Master the Code Challenge. But if you pop me your email address, I can get you all that information. So yeah, lovely to see you guys. Thank you. May the sun keep shining and defrost Laura's pipes and also dry her washing. And Sophie, if you've got water, then Laura just gave us a thumbs up. But thank you so much, guys, for being here. And I will see you next week for another chat about Mum with a Side Hustle. Thank you. Bye.